Well, Phoebe, here we are. It's been a while
It has been a while, but we're back.
to the launch of the Ecology League, a new thing that rolls up under the Epworth League. But
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a very exciting program for people to get involved with. And I think you should tell people more about what it is, Ken.
all right, we're also getting this is my first podcast. I'm just saying for everybody out there, this is the first podcast I've ever done, and I'm not super comfortable about this. I'm not nowhere near as comfortable as Phoebe in front of a camera. So, but yeah, Ecology League. Um, it really has been on my mind for years. I've been working with young adults for about 20 years now, and a lot of different programs and getting young adults involved and helping them with their careers and all kinds of things. And it's bothered me for a number of years now about just all the doom and gloom on the news about the world coming to an end. Ice caps are all melting. We're all going to drown. We're all the species are going to disappear, and it's just one negative thing after another. And the thing that really has stood out to me is that nobody talks about all the millions of young people that are out trying to make a difference and change things, and the success stories, and that there really is hope. And I think, if anything, I'm hoping that this Ecology League group that we're forming will give hope to young people, and also educate them about the facts. And I'm not talking about the alternate facts. I'm talking about real facts that people can use to make educated decisions. That's
Mhm.
so. How about you, Phoebe? What are you thinking?
I totally agree. I think I'm really excited for us to create a space for young adults to come together, to have a place to share their passion for the environment, but also share their passion for doing something. Like you said, I think it's so easy for the doom and gloom to become overwhelming. And I don't want to disregard climate grief and climate anxiety, which is very real, but it's about doing something with those feelings and doing something with that, I guess, worry. So I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to chat more with you. I know this is your first podcast, but I hope it's one of many podcast sessions that we have talking all things environmental and really just getting down to what we can do, why this is important, and why this is important as Christians as well.
Exactly. Yep. Um, Somehow we've gotten to a point where a lot of Christians feel that you know the world is just ours to consume, and I think you and I are definitely of one mind that it's ours to protect as opposed to just consume it. Um, you mentioned the this concept of climate grief. That's not a term here that lots of people hear. Maybe you could expand on what is that exactly?
Yeah, I think it kind of encompasses all those feelings of sadness and lament about the fact that the earth as we know it is changing, and already we've lost species that we can never get back. Already the earth has warmed up to a point where it's going to be really difficult to, well, it's impossible to stop it. All we can do is prevent it from getting worse and prevent the climate crisis getting worse. And so climate grief is that feeling of sadness, of that loss, and sadness of the earth as we knew it. And climate anxiety is very closely linked. So it's that kind of perpetual worry about what the future looks like, what's going to happen, how the human species is going to survive or not survive. And so they're very closely linked, and lots of people in the climate activism sphere talk about these feelings. And for some people, it can be really overwhelming. And I actually think that's one of the reasons why lots of people disengage, because we're given so many negative messages. All the news is negative about what's happening and how the earth has changed and how everything's going really badly wrong, which is important. It's important that we know that and we don't just ignore the facts. But then we kind of have this thing as humans where we shut down and we go, well, we're screwed anyway, so we might as well just give up. And that's not what we need. We need people to go, we want to change this. There is time, and there is, like you said, amongst certainly amongst young people, but a lot of generations, the willpower and the desire to do something. So if you are feeling like that, if you're coming to this podcast with feelings that resonate with the idea of climate grief and climate anxiety. I hope this space can be somewhere for you to just find some hope, find some faith, and find some, yeah, some idea that the future is not as bleak as it could be.
Yeah, I agree. That's great. I think, I was thinking the other day, I was about, you know, like one of the things that comes to my mind that is like a testament to people making a difference was, back when I was your age, which is a long time ago now, the American bald eagle was disappearing. I mean, it was disappearing back in the 1960s and the 70s, and really, which is the national bird of the United States. And we thought this bird was going to go extinct. But somewhere along the line, some people researched it and they found out about these certain pesticides, that the DDT at the time, that was affecting the birds, the egg shells, and back in those days, people were tracking every time a bald eagle was born somewhere. It was like really big deal, and through a government agency and people pushing for it, they banned that, and I think that was what was attributed to the comeback of the American bald eagle. And now, I live on a farm, kind of a hobby farm out in the country here in Wisconsin, and I see bald eagles on my farm, and they're all over Wisconsin now, and I think. 50 years ago, I'm sure there was not this many bald eagles around, but that was, the effect of many people working together to make a difference. And it's one of those good stories. And I think I'm hoping through our podcast we're going to be able to highlight lots of people that are making a difference, and
Mm.
and I think that'll be great. Um,
Absolutely.
and
And there's a way of getting involved wherever you are. Like, I definitely don't live on a farm in the countryside of the USA, but there's still loads of ways that I can either support work that's going on in other places, or I can do something which is relevant to my context. So yeah, I love those kind of stories. And like you say, I think we, along the way, will find quite a few of them, of people doing really amazing things.
yeah, so our vision, for those that are wondering, of this channel is, we plan to find these people making a difference, get them on the podcast, interview them, give inspiration to people, but also hopefully be able to have them tell all of you that are watching us how you can get involved and plug in. And there's just no shortage of these. And so that's going to be a focus. And here in the U.S., already our nonprofit that called the Ecology League, that sponsors this channel, is already working with organizations like the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the U.S. Forest Service and a number of nonprofits that are focused on conservation efforts and education. And we're hoping that we'll be able to share about how we work with those people and how people can plug into some of our programs. And also, I think we'll be hopefully be able to spend time educating people about jobs in this. Like, if you want a career in this space, you don't just have to work for a small nonprofit. Not that there's anything wrong with that, doing conservation, but there's literally millions of people around the world that have full-time jobs working in a space to make a difference. And hopefully we're going to be able to highlight some of those things and give people ideas. Um, I know I'm sure people are wondering, we're going to wrap this up here, our little intro, but some people may be wondering who we are. So, I'm Ken Reingans, as it says on the screen, and I am located near Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My whole background has been around IT technology, and I'm still an IT technologist. And I work for an IT consulting firm that helps companies leverage technology. And Phoebe, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you and where you're from and where you're at right now, which is pretty interesting.
Sure. So my name is Phoebe, and as most of you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not from the US. I was born and grew up in England. I'm a student at the University of Edinburgh, but currently spending my year abroad in Bogota, in Colombia, and I'm working with a a small Colombian organization who works with marginalized communities in Colombia and teaching rights and teaching them opportunities that are available through the medium of arts. So that might be dance, singing, radio, writing, all sorts of things. But it's also given me a really interesting insight into how climate crisis or global industries can affect local communities as well. And I think it's really cool to say how we met, because I don't think many people would expect some random 20-something-year-old British woman to be on a podcast with a man. I'm not
A
going to
really
say
old guy. Yeah, let's just say it. Really old guy. Yeah.
from the US. But we're both connected kind of to the Methodist Church, and I was doing some work previously, and Ken got in touch. And since then, we've had some really interesting conversations. Not conversations that where we've always agreed, and I'm sure in future podcasts you're going to hear more of that. But we've always come back to that shared commitment and shared ambition to create a movement of young adults who care for the planet and want to use their faith to guide their stewardship and their environmental activism.
Well said. Couldn't say it better. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here so we don't bore everybody. So, but we'll be back on and talk about some new things soon. So,
See you
oh,
soon.
and we're always supposed to say, Phoebe, at the end of these videos, right? Please subscribe to our channel, smash the like button, and you know, uh, so that others can find this video and share it with your
You're doing
friends
way
and
better than I
post it
am.
on. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you at another episode.